As Zelensky held sensitive peace talks with the United States in Berlin, Russia dropped a major information bombshell aimed at reshaping the narrative around the war. On December 15, Moscow accused Ukrainian intelligence services of coercing Russian civilians into acts of terrorism through elaborate phone scam schemes, according to RT News. Russia's Federal Security Service claimed that phone fraud is being used systematically to target vulnerable Russian citizens across multiple regions inside the country. The agency said that these vulnerable citizens are first identified and exploited financially, then allegedly pressured into carrying out criminal actions framed as cooperation. FSB officials confirmed that 10 separate cases across 5 different Russian regions are now under active investigation, suggesting a wider pattern rather than isolated incidents. Russian authorities said all of the cases share a common operating method that they link to Kiev special services and their alleged covert networks. The FSB has warned that complying with such demands can result in terrorism and sabotage charges, with prison sentences of up to 20 years under Russian law. According to FSB, victims were first contacted through phone scams in which callers posed as banks or legitimate service providers. The scammers reportedly gained access to the victims' bank accounts and even took out loans in the victims' names without their full understanding. After the financial losses, the victims were then accused of having financed the Ukrainian military, turning them from targets into alleged suspects. The same actors then allegedly reappeared posing as Russian law enforcement officers, adding a new layer of pressure and intimidation. They offered to erase the supposed charges in exchange for secret cooperation, presenting the victims with a false choice. Victims were then ordered to carry out acts of sabotage framed as security tests or assignments, blurring the line between coercion and complicity. Russian officials say that these schemes have already resulted in arson attacks against critical infrastructure sites inside Russia, including targeted facilities. Law enforcement vehicles and equipment were also attacked or damaged, in incidents the FSB treats legally as acts of terrorism. The agency has formally classified these incidents as both terrorism and sabotage under Russian law, elevating the seriousness of the charges. Russia has issued public warnings urging citizens not to trust contacts from messaging apps or phone calls from individuals claiming to be law officers. Moscow further claimed that Ukraine hosts a large scam industry operating globally with what it describes as state protection and oversight. The FSB has previously reported raids on Russian-based facilitators accused of supporting Ukrainian call centers involved in these kinds of schemes. This latest Russian accusation emerges just as Zelensky met with Trump's envoy in Berlin for high-stakes peace talks, adding pressure to the diplomatic backdrop. On December 14, Ukraine signaled it would drop its formal NATO ambitions in exchange for Western-backed security guarantees, marking a major potential shift in its long-term strategy.